Hello, welcome everyone. Today we're going to see how to self-host Plane.so, a project management tool that actually competes with Jira. It's like an alternative to Jira. If you have used Jira as your project management tool, so Plane.so comes with its own powers, especially when you are thinking on using AI integrations along with your project management tool. So this is AI native project management tool that replaces Jira, ClickUp, Linear, Monday, and most of the project management tools out there. And you can either use it on cloud or you can self-host it, or it's like air gap ready in your own infrastructure. So today we are going to see how do we self-host. So let me give you an overview. Plane.so, this is the website. If you hit plane.so, you'll be visiting this website, and as you can see, this has all the integrations required. Let me accept that. And once you go down, you can find that you can actually self-host it. So let me go to the GitHub version of this. So this is the GitHub version of plain.so. You can see this is the repo with 43,000 likes, and it is like an alternative which has many features like manage tasks, sprints, docs, and trials, which actually a project management tool has. And the tech stack, mostly I was very impressed by the tech stack they are using. They have React um, React plus TypeScript as in the front end, and the backend is run by Django with Postgres SQL as their backend stack. So mostly we're going to be using Docker to self-host the entire stack for today. So let me give an overview of the cloud version that Plane has. So if you visit the website plane.so and click on Let's Get Started, you'll be creating your profile after you log in using Google or through the email way of authenticating. So let me just add a name, and if you want, you can set a password. But if you're logged in through Google, it's fine. So let me just click on continue. What's your role? I'm going to select my role as kind of developer for now. Continue. What brings you to the plane? I want to plan and track um, product roadmaps and manage engineering sprints. So let me click on continue, and then you have to create the workspace that you will be working on. So you'll get a particular URL onto it. So let me give a name. So let's say I have a project or a agency that or a team maybe. I have a, let's say, team freelancers, right? So I have a team freelancers. So I'm just going to be clicking on how many people will use this workspace. Maybe it's like 2 to 10. So I'm going to be clicking on create team, or sorry, create workspace, and the workspace got created. And then it asked me to invite it. So you can enter the email ID of this and just click on continue. Otherwise, you can do it later. It's just an optional thing. So once you're done with that, your trial is active now. So I've got a trial for the business plan. So let's get started. So I've got everything unlimited. So this is how the dashboard looks. It is very beautiful in dark mode. And as you can see, let me just check whether my dark mode is on or not. If my dark mode is on, okay, it's off. So yeah, this is the dashboard they will be landing on. And then it has different things like projects, wikis, right, and AI. So you can use Plane with different AI as well. Um, so it can take uh, build mode. So build mode is something that it will use it with the AI integration. So wikis are generally the documentation part where you write the entire documentation of the uh, goals or anything related to your project or company and projects. So let's say this is the workspace that I've landed. So you can add more workspaces and you can invite people into this workspaces. So generally how workspace works is you create a workspace, then you invite people into this workspace. Everyone will join this workspace, and then you'll be collaborating with all the people in this workspace. So that's how the workspace works. So you invite people and then you are good to go. So once they accept your invitation, everyone will be, you can assign people for different tasks that you create inside the project like that. So let me just give you an overview on how do you invite a team. So let's just say get them in. So currently, if you see, currently I am the only person in this workspace, but if I want, I can add a new member. So let me just send an invite to someone I know. Let's say, uh, let me just invite myself just to demo, and this will be a guest for now. So let me just let me just remember. So send invite. So once this invitation is sent, the email goes to the person whom you have invited, and then that person will receive this email and he will be clicking on join the team and so on. Once he joins, he gets added to this team or the workspace. So yeah, back to workspace. Now we have invited someone. Let's create a project. Before that, I'm thinking to customize plain for something, let's say personalize. So I can choose a cover image from out of this very beautiful images that are free to use. Let's say I'll use this. Cool. So once I've selected, done, save, right? So it's done. So my workspace um, is done. Let me create a project now. So for project creation, oh yeah, you can also create manage widgets. So whatever you want, quick links, resends, if you want or not, you can toggle it, and you can also drag and drop like this widgets. All right. So your quick start guide. Do you want a quick start guide? You can hit the no guide thing. So let me just create a project. So project wise, what I'll do is I'll go to projects, and here is the project that was created by default based on your workspace, but you can create a more project. So let's say test project, right? So this will give us a project ID that we can add it. Pro, you can give it anything actually, that doesn't matter. This is a test project, and this is the visibility. So do you want your project to be visible or not? So it can be either private or public. You choose accordingly, and then you click create project. So this is the project that will be created along with your default project, right? So it's creating the project, and it got successfully created. Now these are the base things that a project comes into. Um, I mean, that's an add-on to this project. These are cycles. Cycles are nothing but time boxes. Let's say you have a release planned for your project, so you can create time boxes. That's like a closed deadline for your projects, and people can work on this deadlines, and this time boxes will have multiple projects and tasks involved. So I want cycles, um, enable cycles, plan for and focus time frames. You can select a date between these cycles, and yeah, that's it. So as you can see, now I have two projects. This is test admin, sorry, test project, and team freelancer. That was the this thing. Now you have modules, organize modules into sub-projects with dedicated leads and assignees. So if you want, you can do that, but generally it's optional. Views, you can actually create a lot of filters uh, for how do you want the task to be displayed on. So like that, those things you can check. Time tracking. So time tracking is something I really like. Whenever I'm doing some task, I will really start my clock that will record the start time of that particular task, and whenever I end it, it will just stop the time and record it into this time tracker. So this is very cool. So I'll just turn this on. And milestones, definitely milestones are something like, let's say you have a task or a goal in mind that you want to achieve, um, or let's say you have a feature in mind, you can create a milestone, um, that to achieve this feature, you will complete all the particular tasks, and the milestone will be achieved after all those tasks are completed. So these things you can do it through milestones. So let me add that also. And intake is something like a feedback. Let's say, um, if you want to make it public, the project, and if you share this URL to someone or a community where these people will be interested to check your project and give feedback to, so at that time this thing definitely helps. You can turn it on, and people can check on the issues, and they can give feedback to this, um, project board, right? So this is all the features that we have enabled for this project. So I'm just going through whatever I can so that you get an overall idea of this entire plain dot. So it's very useful when you get to hang off how to use these features, because many of times whenever someone starts with the project management system, they don't know the features inside it and what that represents. So I'm just giving an overall overview. So this states are generally different type of what you can see goals. Whenever you not goals, you can say, let's say you create a task, but that's not that important uh, to be taken as the development. Let's say you started the development and you create few tasks that are having a particular priority. Let's say in backlog, what you do is you create tasks that you have in mind, but you haven't started it. So you will just add those things and stash it into this backlog. So I want to create a to-do app, let's say. Um, not I want to creating a to-do app feature, right? So you add more details here and then create it. So this created as a backlog, and once you have this feature or you want this feature to be taken by some developer, right? What you can do is you can move it to in progress or assign it to unstarted, right? And you can definitely add more states here. Let's say cancel, completed, started. You can track this task based on the progress of the task. So let's say in progress, right? So in progress is means the developer has already started, or someone, not only developer, anyone who is taking up this task has already started working on it. So he'll be, it will be in progress state, right? So once the task is completed, you shift it to complete, completed. And in case this task gets cancelled, or um, you have not decided to take it further, you can cancel it by just dragging here, right? So this is the different states you can customize inside, um, and then workflows. So these are the various workflows. First in the backlog, then to do, then in progress, then done, and then can completed and like that cancelled, right? Labels. So labels are something that you can use it to categorize. So let's say um, app development, right? Let's say you are a web development agency and you have many things, many tasks that takes care of. So you can create uh, different types of tags, web development, and you can choose the colors of this by selecting here. So let me give green, right? So I can add it like this. Now what happens is I have these two tags. Now I can assign it to any particular task. So I get more information in, oh, this is related to web development thing, right? So like that. So estimates, let's come back to estimates. And there are many things um, that we can do. Let me go to test project, right? So now we are inside this test project. What we can do is, let's say I want to create a milestone. A milestone, as I explained it earlier, it's something like a goal that you have in mind that we need to deliver this feature, let's say. So I'll create it, release 0.0.1, right? And then we can add more details into this release. This feature will go um, mobile landing page, or let's say landing page, right? And the contact page. So let's say our milestone in the name is release 0.0.1, and two of these things will go into this release. So I'm gonna create a target date. So I'm going to give a target date of, let's say, end of this month, Jan 31, and create, right? So this creates this release, and now this is our milestone, and is you can see it's like a diamond in shape. Now what we can do is we can create work items. So once you go to work items, this is where you create the tasks, right? Let's say we're going to work on the landing page. So what are tasks are required for that? UI UX landing page, right? You add more details into it. Okay, so let's say this is the work items, and this is currently showing it as backlog, and this is the start date, due date, assignees. Assignees generally, if you have more than two members, you can assign it to the second person. If he's working on into it, you can add the tag, right? So let's say this is UI UX tag. Let me zoom a bit. So let me see if I can create a UI UX tag here directly. Yeah, you can create it. You can directly add a UI UX, and now it sits under UI UX tag, right? So let's say we add more task into it. Design and Figma, right? So we have two tasks now, and if you see here, we can also change the layout of this board. So this is the Kanban way of showing it. You can see the different states: backlog, to do, progress, done, cancelled, like that, right? So once this UI UX task is needs to be assigned to everyone, you just select assignee. You can click on it to add more details to it. So we need to create the UI UX task for the website's landing page, right? So let's say I've added a dummy task. You can add more subtasks into it. So let me just delete this task. I can archive it, but let me just delete this task for now. I can click on this task. I can add more subtasks. Design the mock in Figma, right? So every task that you create, you can add more tasks into it. And let's add one more. Mm, get that design approved. Design approved, right? So audit, design audit basically. Audit for accessibility. Let's say accessibility is very important, right? So I'm going to click. I'm feeling lucky because I can see it's having an AI integration. So why not? Let's test this out. So it will generate a response. Oh, cool. So this generated the entire response based on that. If I click on AI, you can add your own question and it will generate the response out of it. Let's test this. So, can you add more details on what accessibility guidelines it needs to follow? So it will generate a response and then it will add all the details here. So as you can see, it added all the 6 points that are related to accessibility. So yeah, let me use this response. Okay, so we got a very good AI integration to create the task just out of box using AI. And let me just check on the labels. So let me click on label and okay, let me select UI UX. Assign is me. Definitely, I don't have a person. So when you want to start this task, let's say start date. Start date is when the task will going to start. So let's give today's date and due date. Let's give it on a week. And this is the cycle. Currently, we haven't created any time boxes. You remember, time boxes is something like a grid that we can assign this task to. And this is the task ID. And this is the state. So to do. I'm going to make it as to do and say more. So as you can see, everything got added it into this particular task. Jan 10 to say design the mock. We haven't created much out of it, but as you can see, we have added two subtasks, right? So yeah, we are good here. And track time, log work. Log work is something, how much time have you spent? Whoever is assigned to this, he can add the track time here. So let's go back to this to do. So now this task is in to do. And let's say I am going to take this task up. So before that, let's create a cycle. So cycles are nothing but the time boxes. Time boxes are nothing but a particular block of time when you want this task to be completed. So let's say sprint one. Usually people work in sprints, or I mean teams work in sprints. So let me give it a name, sprint one. The team will work for 10 days. in this sprint. Let's give the sprint a time of, it starts from today and it's gonna be a 10 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 19. So till 19th, I'm going to create this time box. It will create a sprint one. And as you can see, you got the burn down chart, build up chart, everything down it, and whatever assigned, uh, whatever the sprint task will be, it will show here, right? So let me go back to our test project and let me add this task that we have created into a burn down. So let's say I can do is I can go here, cycle, and I can click on sprint one, right? And I can also assign a priority. Let's say I have a high priority, and when this task going to complete, I can give a due date. Let's say the 10 days I want to make it testing also for the UI UX audit thing. So let me give us Jan 16th, and that's it. So all this history is going to be there, and let me go to this as well, and you can see all the data is here, and we can add it to sprint one. Parent is already selected, and we can say release 0.1 as the milestone for this as well, right? So let's start thinking it like, now we have created the task, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to log the task, the log the time that we are going to spend into this task. Before that, if you see here, we have analytics. Currently it's not yet started. It's just showing the data that it has 3 work items, unstarted work items, 2 backlog. Nothing has been started, right? So yeah, what I can do is now you can select it based on priority. You can say high priority task. So this will show all the high priority tasks because this task has a priority of high. So you can switch it to different priorities to check which are the urgent tasks, right? So these are cool features. You can do a filter around those tasks, and there are other ways to filter this. Showcase this task. You can do a calendar view. You can do a table layout. Table layout are generally, it will show in tabular form, or you can do a drag and drop project management style, correct? So I'm going to go with the Kanban mode, and let me share move this to here. So now once I started this, let's say I'm auditing this task, and I'm going to, since I'm the designer for this, I'm going to say urgent. This is my task. It's not required, but I'll give myself a priority, and then once I'm done with it, I will log that. Okay, I've done 1 hour of work here, worked on the design for the landing page using Figma. I'm going to log this. Let's say I have given 30 minutes, 1 hour and 30 minutes. So I'm going to save it. So now, as you can see, the track time is 1 hour and 30 minutes. So this is pretty cool. Like you can do entire things that a project management tool is. And once you are done with it, you can easily switch this task to, let's say, how do you move it to completed now, right? So what you can do is once this is done, you can click on this, you can say done. So now this is done, and this task is done. But yeah, once it's done, it's done, right? So this is now done. So if you go to the work cycles now, you can see a burn down chart that one thing is done, and the burn down chart has its own concept that you can, I'll tell you later on in some other video. But yeah, this is pretty cool that you can see the progress of the entire team and the entire sprint for a particular time period, um, in a very cool way. And yeah, this is the power of playing. So I hope you got a picture of the overall idea. For documentation purpose, you can create your page. Let's say doc, right? So this is a public doc, and we have a cool Notion style editor, right? Welcome to our public project. I can add many things to do. I mean, go through our website, do some audit, share feedback, right? Something like that. You can create a document and you can also add colors to this. Let's say this is pretty cool, and you can also center it and add code. Let's add a code. Welcome. And also there are features like once you click on it, you can actually summarize it with AI. So I hope you will enjoy this feature like I do. So cool. These are some of the things. You can also add image or attachment. Let's say, right. So these are some of the things that you can do with the public docs and stickies. Stickies are something like if you have any idea that it's like a sticky note, create a mobile app, and like you can add one more sticky, create a website for the project, create UI UX. I mean, these are generally the ideas. You don't have to add. It's not a to-do list. Mobile app ideas. It can be something like mobile app ideas for reference, right? And you can add multiple things to it. So something like that. And this can be organized however you want. So you can search it around like mobile. So this will show it. So this is pretty cool as well. And now, once you're assigned to a particular task, this is, let's say, I am the owner of some of the tasks, right, that have been assigned to. So this is what this dashboard will show. This will show me all the work items that has created and assigned to me, and what was the priority that those tasks had, whether it was high, low, medium, urgent, anything. And this is the states of the various work items. As you can see, these are the subscribed ones, and this is what I have been assigned to. So this will show all my activities around the entire assigned ones. Cool. So now I hope you got the overall idea. You can also add a dashboard. You can create your own dashboard based on uh, your filters, right? And you can add widgets around it, like what is the burn down, and you can configure these widgets as well. So this has its own learning curve. So let me just add a simple widget for now. Let's say number, right? So let's say uh, team members, right? So I can add a metric. Okay, so this is something like you can add out of this pending work items, right? Pending. Let me get pending. So this is like the number that it will show. So you can add it pending, and you can also change its color kind of. And let me add one more project. I mean widget completed. Oh, sorry, in progress. And this will be like in progress work items, right? So currently I don't think anything is there. It should show zero. Yep. And one more completed. Completed work items. So this is also here. So now this is your dashboard. Isn't it cool? So you got all the details that you need, and you can also refresh it. So this is the dashboards that are highly customizable. Let's say I want to change the name of this. So yeah, this is what a general template is. You can modify it to whatever you want. And AI, of course, let's say I activate build mode. So what build mode does is Now it introduces something called chat GPT like way of adding or creating projects. Can you create create tasks under um, let's say we will ask some data around it. Can you tell me what's the progress of our test project? So once we hit it, it will analyze our entire database. And here you go, you got some insights from the AI itself that we got three work items, but it's 33.33% complete since one task was only completed. But in backlog, we have two items. So yeah, this is what the insights and all you can exactly ask the AI to talk with your data, right? So yeah, I hope you get the idea of the plane. Okay, so back to our motto of this video. How do we self-host plane, right? So I've created this good to follow documentation on how you can do it. So I'll share the link of this post in this video below, so you can go through the document and follow the step by step as I do, right? So first of all, let me go through the document and show you what I meant on what's the difference between actually using it on cloud and why do you want to why will you want to self-host it, right? So what is plain? So this is a map overall what we went through, and the open source code is available at this particular link. So let me open this. If we go to this website, so you can see that this is the project. They have 43,000 likes, and the latest release being 1.2.1. It was released last month. So today it's 10, sorry, 11th. Currently I'm recording on 10th, but it just passed 12, so it's 10. So this is the documentation, and you can follow two ways of installing through Docker or Kubernetes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Docker, and if you're an instant admin, you can configuration settings in God mode, like the AI thing that we saw, right? So features for the tool, and if you want to contribute, you can definitely localhost. You can directly look. Let me show you how do we, you know, um, do it. So like so consider that. So let's say you want to clone this project. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right? So I'm going to clone this, git clone, and the entire code base will be yours, right? All this code. So if you're a developer who wants to contribute to this project, this code base can definitely help you. Let it get cloned. Till that time, we'll go through the documentation. So let's say, why do you want to use the open source version of it versus the open source, I mean the private cloud version. So it says it's open source but uses an EGPL license, right? So you can self-host the open source version if you want full control of your data and infrastructure. Why would you want to self-host it? You need internal PM tool, customize workflows, UIs. You want to integrate deeply with internal tools. Cloud, you don't want infrastructure maintenance. You need guaranteed uptime or support, right? So what you need before starting to self-host, you need Docker, right? So Docker desktop. So let me just turn on my Docker. So this is the Docker that I've started, right? So once this Docker desktop has been started, now let me minimize it. So you need Docker desktop installed. You need a Linux server. It can be anything Linux, Mac, anything. Then you need at least two CPU and 4 GB RAM, 20 to 30 GB of disk space to run this software. And what the tech stack looks like: front end is Next.js, back end is Django, Worker, Celery, database Postgres, cache Redis, file storage local, or if you want to hook it with AWS S3, it's compatible, and auth, email or password, that is optional. And this is all the software is bundled together via Docker, right? So let me go through this one by one. So this is an overview of the project. So if you see that once we have cloned it, it should be available as plain. And then once you're inside, you can see all these projects. So you can find the Docker Compose file, right? And the Docker local environment file .env. So let's say, okay, so right now they have removed the env, but you can see setup.sh file, right? So this is the setup file that we're going to use. Okay, so this thing is not required. So yeah, so now what we can do is let's go back to our root folder and we will create a new folder, plain self-host hosted, right? So this will be having all our, I mean this will be responsible for running our app. So we'll switch to that, correct, and then we'll copy the script. Don't worry, I will paste it into this. I mean, I'll create an article and paste it in the video. So once you hit this, you can see that a setup file has been created, right? Then you need to make this setup executable, and once you do that, you can run this setup.sh. So this thing will come up, and then what you need to do is the first option, you just say install, right? And would like to allow. So once this is done, it will download the latest release version. It's pulling all the images required. So in background, you need Docker to be running. So yeah, let's wait for this. So apart from that, once you, so if you are a developer, right? So you can go through the code base and you can also contribute it. Since it's an open source project management, there are a lot of things that you can learn from this project, basically. So I would highly recommend for the open source contributors who will be interested. You can fork and create your own PRs. So this is pretty cool. So yeah, so now it has been, it has pulled all the versions, right? So after that, what you need to do is you need to go to this plain app directory, Let me just make this small, right? And then inside it, there's a plain env file, right? So you need to do a nano plain env file, right? So once you are into this, what you need to do is you need to make this HTTP port environment variable as 8080. So everything is I've documented here. So 443 is fine, and web URL you can delete this and put localhost 8080, right? And cause without origin to be localhost. Okay, so just hit enter and exit, right? So now if you do plain.env, it should show with the new changes. Okay, so this is done. So now the next step is, once you're done with this env change, you need to go back to your root folder and run the setup file again. So once you run this, you need to save start. So once you hit enter, now the Docker is taking its superpowers into picture and running all the things. So if you go to the Docker desktop, now if you go to play map, right? So all the services have started. So this is started and waiting for data migration to finish. Once that happens, you are good to go. Data migration completed successfully. Waiting for API services to start. I think it's making all the services start one by one. So as you can see, the worker, the front end, back end, everything is started in the Docker, and now plain server started successfully. You can access the application at localhost 8080. Congratulations. So let's see by going to let's see, create a new window and go to localhost 8080. Okay, hooray, we are inside it, and let's get started. Now you have to create your first user. Alright, let's create our first admin user. So I've entered. Then I don't want it to collect it, so I'm gonna create continue. So as you can see, I'm in the God mode. God mode is the admin panel, I mean admin settings thing. So name of instance local, right? Save changes, setting changes, workspaces. One is from creating a workspace on this instance. Email. So we are going to set up email um, through, but not now. Maybe later. We are just going through this. We can enable authentication, artificial intelligence. We can set up the LLM model and also add the API key. Choose an open AI engine. Okay. Images. So you can add an Unsplash API key to get the third party Unsplash images for whenever you are selecting, let's say, cover and all those images. So yeah, let's create our workspace now. Uh, Name your workspace. My project, I mean my local workspace. How many people? Just myself. Save, and boom, you have a workspace. Now once I click on the workspace, I can log in to this workspace, and the password uh, for requested cookie too large. Alright, so this is a browser specific issue where Nginx settings you need to do to improve its, increase its buffer size. So you can go through this article. I'll attach it. So you just need to increase it to 4K. um, it will handle most of the cases. So yeah, so I just switched to Safari, and here, as you can see, I'm already inside it. So same process what we did in the cloud, right? So no thanks. Yep. So now you're inside it, and we can create a test project. So as you can see here in this local, you didn't had a um, demo project. It is um, like empty by default, no projects at all. So we are creating a local test project. Yep, and all these things you can turn on. Cool. And the speed is just mind blowing. It's like a snap. In a blink, it's loading. Test task, and everything works as you want. So that's it, folks. In this video, I showed you how to use it, how to set up playing locally. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to soon show how do you do it using other ways. And let's say you want to host it into your own domain. How do you use it into using a EC2 server, and maybe the production-based manual setup that you can do locally using Kubernetes also. So all these things are coming up. So I hope you like this project. I mean, I hope you like the video of our open source Saturdays episode today. So yeah, let's see how it goes with the next part. See you soon. Thank you so much.